my tripod is extra sensitive today to being wiggly and wobbly, so I was trying to press the button as lightly as possible so as not to give you seasickness. Hi, welcome to my knitting room. My name is Melissa. Welcome back to my knitting room if you're a regular friend of mine that likes to visit with me here on the internet. Melissa. This is the Stitches Be Slippin' YouTube channel / knitting / making podcast. I usually talk about knitting. I occasionally dabble in some other crafts and things, whatever rabbit hole I'm going down at the moment, because I have ADHD and I get distracted very easily. It's been a while since I forgot to take my meds, and I forgot to take my ADHD meds yesterday morning. And by the time I remembered, it was too late, because if you take it too late, then you won't be able to sleep at night. So I went all day yesterday without my ADHD meds, and it's been a long time since I did that. And boy, oh boy, I can't believe I went 40 some years without being medicated, because I could barely function yesterday. So let's get into it. My last episode was a little light on the actual making content and very heavy on the general life update content. And this episode is going to be the opposite. I have quite a bit of making to show you, mostly knitting, one side quest, and not a lot of life updates. So let's start with what I'm wearing. This is one of my FOs for today. Today I have 1, 2, 3, 4 FOs. And this is one of them. So I talked about this on my last episode that I had bought the yarn to make it, and I made it. So let me find, where is that? Here it is, along with a bunch of other shit. Oh yeah, by the way, I swear sometimes, so if you don't like that, then you might just want to skedaddle. Where is it? Okay, so this is the 03 Rib Cami, and I can't remember the pattern designer name, but as always, I will put all the patterns, designers, dyers, makers, blah, 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 etc. Everybody that I talk about, I will link down below, so you can go check them out if you want. I made this with Lion brand Made with Love, the cottony one, which is Tom Daley's line of yarn. Tom Daley is an Olympic diver, if you don't know who that is. And the colorway is Lychee White. This is a worsted weight yarn, and it is 60% cotton and 40% acrylic. Yeah, so it was a nice quick knit because it's worsted weight yarn, and yeah, I knit it pretty fast. I mean, as fast as it can go when it's 2x2 ribbing the whole garment. I'm not super excited about how my increases look here along there. I feel like it looks a little bit holy where it's not maybe supposed to, but that's just nitpicking a little bit, I think. You can see the back is like square, sort of. I can't really turn all the way around here, but yeah, the strap is double knit, pretty wide and sturdy. I could have definitely made the strap a little thinner, like less wide, because I didn't need it to be so heavy duty, but it's good. I was inspired to knit this because I was watching a Knitted by Whitney podcast episode where she talked about summer tank tops that were specifically size inclusive and had straps that would cover your bra. Those were her two main criteria. So thank you to Whitney for suggesting this. It's comfortable, it's easy to wear, it's not slipping down or anything like that. So anyway, my second FO, I feel like I finished this a million years ago, but that's probably because I forgot to podcast for a month. So sorry about that. I finished my Hannah cardigan, which is called the Hannah Cardigan My Size. The Hannah cardigan is a kid's pattern. Hannah Cardigan My Size by Sarah, I think it's N to pen cuff. I'm not entirely sure, but I will also put that down below in my notes. She is Noelle Knits on Instagram. She just had a baby, which is adorable. And this is my cardigan. Okay, she's pink. She's glorious. She's a little wrinkly because it was in my closet and it's been quite warm here and I haven't been able to wear it because it's been too warm. But yeah, it's all over half fisherman's rib, so it's really like nice and squishy, and it's a drop shoulder, which is my favorite, V-neck, which is also my favorite. The button band is double knit, and it's an applied double knit button band. So that means like you pick up all the stitches and then you are like knitting back and forth and attaching it as you go, instead of like knitting one round all the way and then one round all the way back. And like, I can't stand doing button bands like that. So this is the pattern called for an applied double knit button band. However, it called for, like, this is a DK weight. I'll tell you about the yarn in a sec. This is a DK weight pattern, so the yarn is DK weight, and then the pattern called for a fingering weight to do the button band. And I was like, well, I only have DK weight of this yarn, and like, what are the chances that I'm gonna find this exact shade in something else in a fingering weight? So I've done enough applied button bands in the last little while to be fairly confident that I could do it with my DK weight. So the pattern called for when you were picking up the stitches around to do the button band, because it was a thinner, she was calling for a fingering weight. She was telling you to pick up every stitch all the way around, so there would be more, I don't know how to explain that issue. Like, usually when you pick up for a button band, you're doing like pick up 3, skip 1, pick up 3, skip 1 kind of thing, like pick up 3 for every 4 stitches. But this one was pick up every stitch because the yarn obviously was thinner that she wanted you to do the button band with. Anyway, I just stuck with my good old pick up 3 and skip 1 recipe, and it worked just fine. So that's how it went. Now, look at my, I don't know if you can see, oh yeah. I got sparkly buttons. I got sparkly buttons. I was inspired by my friend Nicole, the Prof Pearl on YouTube and Prof Pearl on Instagram. She recently made a really, really lovely like baby pink cardigan, and she got sparkly buttons for her cardigan. And then I was like, ooh, I really like that. And then I made a pink cardigan, and I found these sparkly buttons at the store where I get buttons from. And I was like, yeah, now we can both have sparkly buttons. Okay, it's way too hot in here to be wearing this. It is as hot as Pedro Pascal's arms in here, let me just say. If you know, you know. Okay, yarn. This is what I have left. I had 4. Where are my tags? Yeah, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 4 skeins of this, and this is what I have left. I can't remember what size I made. It was one of the smaller sizes. Size 2 maybe, or 3. I can't remember. The yarn is called quinoa yarns. And it's 70% fine June and wool and 30% baby Surrey alpaca and a DK weight. So it's 273 yards per 100 grams. So it's a lighter DK weight. There's the, I can never get it to focus that way. I don't know how people do that. And the color, it's naturally dyed, and the colorway is strawberry. Now, the reason I mention that is because, so while I was knitting this, the yarn bled on my fingers like every single time. I could knit it for 5 minutes and I would have pink streaks across my fingers from where I tensioned my yarn. So I had like pink lines. It looked like I had pink line tattoos on my fingers for like a month while I was knitting this. But that has happened to me before. I've had yarn like bleed on my fingers when I'm knitting it before, and then after I block it, it's totally fine. So I blocked this. I was super happy with it. I wore it with like, I don't know, I kind of always wear like a light base color, like a white t-shirt or something like that, like under a cardigan. And so I wore, I think it was a white tank top and some light blue jeans with this. And by the end of the day, like the inside of my tank top was pink and the sides of my jeans were pink. So now I don't really know what to do about it. Like I love this cardigan, and like I have yarn dyeing experience. Like I used to work as a yarn dyer. So I know, but that's my experiences with acid dyes. And like this is still wool, it's still an animal protein, it's still, but it was naturally dyed, so I don't know if the mordant is different based on natural dyeing as opposed to like regular acid wash dyeing. Because like I could just soak it in like a heavy vinegar wash, like heavy vinegar mix kind of thing to try and set the color some more. But I don't know if that will work because the dye is different. So if there's any natural dyers out there, if you have any experience with this, maybe let me know if there's a way for me to make it a little bit more color fast. That would be fantastic. If not, I might just have to email the dyer and ask them what to do. I mean, I probably should do that anyway, but you guys have my back, so I'm sure somebody will have some good suggestions, hopefully. Okay, that was my Hannah cardigan, my size. Okay, then after, what was it? I don't know. My timeline, I don't know what my timeline is because it's been like a month. So everything feels like last week I started this or last week I ended this. I have ADHD, and one of the things with ADHD is like time blindness, which sometimes is like you think something is going to take an amount of time and then it takes way longer or whatever. For me, time blindness is everything I do. Like if I'm trying to remember when I did something, I'm always like, oh, it was last week. And it could have been like 2 months ago. So anyway, I don't remember what order I made these things in, but okay, I think having said that, I finished my Hannah cardigan and I really wanted to make more half fisherman's rib because I really enjoy the process of knitting half fisherman's rib. So I decided I was going to make the Lanark sweater, and I will show you that. That is one of my whips. So I started working on that and I like got onto the body rounds and then I got hella bored. So I was like, one day I was like, I really don't feel like, excuse me. So one day I was like, I just don't want to do more body rounds on this sweater. So I was like, what else can I work on? I'm like looking around at all my hibernating things sitting around. And one of the ladies that goes to the knit night that I go to, Justine, had just recently posted an FO on her Instagram. She just made a Nebula by Andrea Mowry. Is it Nebula? Yes. Nebula by Andrea Mowry in this like awesome like sherbety lime green color, and I loved it so much. And I remembered as I was sitting there looking for something else to work on other than the whip that I was supposed to be working on, I remembered, hey, I started a Nebula a long time ago and then just put it down and didn't finish it. I can't remember why. I think I was not sure about the yarn and there was some pooling and whatever, and I was like, I don't know. And then when Justine finished her Nebula, I was like, oh yeah, I have that. So yeah, I dug through my whips and I found it, and I had just ripped the needles out of it and left live stitches just hanging out there waiting. Luckily this yarn it's like kind of fluffy and it wasn't going anywhere. So I just picked them all up and kept on going. I had finished, it's a bottom up. I had finished up to like where you separate and start working the front and then work the back. So I didn't have a lot left to do, because then once you're done that and you bind off the shoulders, then all you have to do is ribbing on the sleeves and boom, you're done. Ha! No knitting sleeves. Anyway. Okay, so I finished my nebula. I think I picked it up out of my hibernating whip pile and I finished it within like 36 hours maybe. Like, it was so stupid. I had finished up to where you separate and do knit the front and back. And then after you knit the front and back and do your 3 needle bind off, then you pick up and do a tiny little color, and then you pick up and do a tiny little bit of ribbing, and boom, you're done. So I don't know why I was putting it off. Anyway, here she is. Isn't she cute? So it's like longer in the back. I really like, I don't know, it feels, it's oversized, but it's not incredibly oversized, and it's like, it's really fluffy and soft, but it's also really, really light, because I'll tell you about the yarn. I've told you about the yarn before, but it's been a long time since I talked about this. So the yarn is from Lavender Loon Yarn Company. I bought this in Seattle at Flock Festival last year, Flock Fiber Festival. This yarn is 70% baby alpaca, 7% wool, and 23% recycled nylon. So basically it's just like a DK weight Surrey, basically. And it's so light and fluffy. Of course you can't. It's really, really light and fluffy. Like, that doesn't even feel like there's anything on my finger. And so when you knit a whole sweater with it, it's just like, I don't know why I keep doing this. Yeah, so the tag says, for weight, it says DK to bulky, because you can knit this at a really big gauge. I think this gauge is like 17 stitches. You could knit it even bigger on bigger needles, and it's because it's that fluffy Surrey alpaca, it will just bloom and fill in all those empty spots. So you could knit it tight to a DK weight, or you could knit it loose to a bulky weight, and it would still just drape. This is a fairly big gauge, but yeah, it's I love it. Okay, so those are my knitting FOs. Okay, it's almost the end of the school year. And so time for teacher gifts, and my go-to gift for teachers at the end of the year is this cross-stitch pattern. I've made, I don't even know how many now, quite a few. So with this pattern, you can buy it on Etsy. I'll put the link down below. You have to buy, when you buy the pattern, she charts out the name for you, so you don't get like the alphabet so that you can make whatever names you want. She charts it out for you. And so then that way, like next year when you want to make another one, you have to buy it again so she can chart out the name for you. And I've done that a few times. I've made this pattern a number of times. So I've done that enough times that I was able to just look back at all those different charts, and I was able to chart the names on these ones myself. So I was very happy about that, to not have to buy the pattern again. And yeah, so the stitching is done. I still have to finish the backing on them, but I am pretty sure they will have been gifted by the next time I come on here. So here's the first one. Senora Styles is my son's grade 4 teacher. And this one is for my son's grade 5 teacher, Senorita Rivas. My kids go to Spanish bilingual school, in case you're wondering why they're Senora and Senorita. Yeah, so it's a very simple pattern for sure. It's a lot of color changes, and yeah, when you're doing two of them, like when you do one of it, it's like, this seems pretty fast. But then when you do two of them, they felt like they took forever. But yeah, those are done. So I don't do any fancy finishing on the backs. I usually just like trim this down to maybe like 1/2 inch or something, and I hot glue it down to the frame. And then I cut out a piece of felt and just hot glue that over top of that, and then call it a day. So I'm not really a fancy finishing kind of gal. So those are done. Yay! I am hot. Okay, so those are all of my FOs, I believe. Yes. Okay, moving on to whips. Okay, so let's talk about whips. I talked earlier about when I finished my Hannah cardigan, I really wanted to do some more half fisherman's rib, because I really enjoy the process of knitting half fisherman's rib. And I had really wanted to make the Lanark sweater, and so I started knitting the Lanark sweater immediately. So anyway, I got going. And using this yarn, I've showed this a few times. This is the Drops Soft Tweed that I got when Tiny Human Knits, Laura, was doing a destash. And these are 50-gram balls, but I got 12 of them. This is like 6 skeins of DK weight. It's a really light gray. It's got little blips of like darker gray / black tweed in it, but it's not like a heavy tweed like some of the tweeds you see out there. Yeah, and so this is inside out. Okay. So I just finished the body. And before you say, oh my God, you're so fast, like, it's been a month. So I've been working on this for quite a long time, and I just finished the body. So it's a half fisherman's rib, but it like has an opening in the front where you where I'm gonna put in a zipper. So we'll see how that goes. So if you knit the collar and then you fold it down, and then like the construction is quite ingenious. I don't know if she came up with this manner of construction, but it worked really well. I was kind of like, where is this going? How is this gonna work? And I just trust the process, trust the pattern. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Anyway, so here is how it's going. It looks like a hot mess because it hasn't been blocked, obviously. But yeah, I love this color. I love this gray, but I was also like, this is gonna be a really, really boring gray sweater. So I decided I was just going to put a little hot pop at the top of the collar, which I think is gonna be fucking amazing. Yeah. So this little flappy thing, don't worry, that's supposed to be there. So anyway, I'll get back to that. I finished the body. It doesn't call for a split hem, but I really like a split hem, so that's what I did. And yeah, okay. So this is where the zip is going to get put in eventually, the zipper. And this is what she calls the facing. I don't know what that means, but I knit it. And then I think what happens is I'm going to be like just whip stitching the inside of that down. And then there's a pocket here once that is down for me to sew the zipper into, I think. Luckily, she has video tutorials for all the kind of like tricky bits in here. There's only a couple of tricky bits, and when you watch the video, they make complete sense. So don't be afraid of making this. She's a very good teacher and very good at demonstrating things. So this is how far I've gotten. I think she's gonna be great. I just got a zipper for her today at Fabricland, and I think it will work. They didn't have any like light gray ones. This one's kind of like a grayish beige, and I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work, but you can't really tell. I took a picture. I was holding it inside, and I'll put the picture up here, and I think it will work. You're not gonna see very much of the zipper sticking out, just like the handle kind of thing. So I think it will work just fine. Nobody's gonna be looking that closely at the zipper when all you can see is this bam, hot pop at the top. Hot pop at the top. And then, yeah, so I finished that little facing flap there. I'm just starting this one. It's gonna go down there. And then it's time for sleeves. But I am excited about this one, so. When my husband saw me making this one, he was like, ooh, can you make one of those for me? And at the beginning, I was like, yeah, I really like knitting this. I can totally make you one. And now I'm like, no, I don't think so. Maybe next year or something. What else do I have here? Okay, and then after I finished my nebula, this lady here, I really was enjoying working with this yarn. It's light and fluffy and soft and gorgeous, and I remembered another whip that I abandoned a long time ago. Well, within the last year, probably a year ago. I bought this yarn in Spain when we went to Spain last summer. Yes. And so when we came home, I started making this. So the pattern is called Brume, B-R-U-M-E, by Andrea Mowry. And it is knit with the similar type of yarn. So there's two kinds of this yarn that are like generally available from yarn dyers. This one is the one it's sort of more like a roving or chainette style. It's not a chainette style, I don't think, but it's more like that. And then this yarn is what Andrea Mowry used. This is the exact same base, just from a different dyer. And it's the same, I think it's the same content. Okay, here's my tag. I bought this at All You Knit Is Love in Barcelona. It's a really cute little knitting store if you're ever in Barcelona. And this is her own hand-dyed yarn. And this base is 90% Surrey and 10% silk. So it's almost the same content, but just the way that it is spun, I guess, is a little bit different. It has more like chunky bits. It's not quite as even. It's not, I wouldn't call it a slub yarn, but it's, anyway, it's equally as soft and fluffy and gorgeous. And Andrea Mowry released these two patterns fairly close together, just using this. Hers was using the Farmer's Daughter Odang DK. They have Odang, like the Surrey lace weight, and then they have this is their DK version of that. And so Andrea Mowry I think she made her broom with this yarn, but in like a dark blue kind of color. I'm all over the place, sorry. So I cast this on not long after, probably in last fall. And I knit let me put a picture up here so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. It's sort of like a mock neck, but it's like a wider mock neck. So you knit the whole collar and fold it over, and then I believe it's a raglan. But the yarn is so fluffy and bloomy and whatever, you can't really see the raglan in the picture. But yeah, so it'll be like a long sleeve, like oversized-ish, just soft coziness for the fall and the winter. And I had started the collar. I knit the whole collar, and then I tried, you have to like fold it over and attach it. And I had so much trouble like knitting them together. And I tried a couple times, and then I kind of just gave up. Once again, just ripped the needles off, left the live stitches, left it attached to the ball, threw it in there, and was like, I don't want to look at this. And so once I finished this, and I was like, oh, this yarn is so fluffy and cozy, I should keep making that broom that I started a long time ago. So I picked it back up, and I carefully, slowly, I put the needles in, first of all, and just made my way around. I counted how many stitches I was supposed to need, had all the stitches on, made my way around, and just carefully knitted them all together. And sometimes you just, if something is not working for you and it's making you so mad, you just need to take time away from it, and then you will eventually be back in the mood to make it again. So here I am. I folded the collar over and she's ready to go. So now I just have to follow the pattern and knit the rest of the sweater. But it's gonna be really pretty. Yeah, it's really, I don't think I can put it over my head with the, nope. Anyway. Maybe give you an idea. It's not a color I usually knit with. It is a little pinky, but it's more of like a bright purpley pink. Pinky purple, I should say. Anyway, it'll be really pretty. I'm trying to stop knitting everything in beige and like cream and all that stuff, because I have a lot of it, and then when I go and I'm like, I want to wear something colorful, but then I don't have anything colorful to wear. Anyway, this is just, I don't know when I'm going to actually finish the sweater, like getting the collar folded over successfully was a huge obstacle. So now all I need to do is follow the pattern and make the sweater, obviously. So I don't think it's gonna be now, because like it's hot outside, it's almost summertime, but it's ready to go when I'm ready to go. So that is good. It's cast on, it's collar's done. Anyway, this is living in this sweater, or this project bag that my mom made me with raccoons on it from Tula Pink. And okay, I think I have one more FO or not FO. This is a whip, and it's on the floor. Okay, so I mentioned Flock Fiber Festival earlier. I'm going to the Flock Fiber Festival again this year in Seattle. Last year, I'm going with my friend Nicole, who's the Prof Pearl, and Jasmine, that Crafty Jasmine on Instagram. And I'm gonna meet up with Mari again, yay, from Colorado Knitter. I know there's gonna be lots of people there to see Elizabeth, my friend Elizabeth, who is Elizabeth is Knitting on Instagram. If you're not watching Elizabeth on Instagram, you need to go follow her like immediately. She's doing these weekly, they're kind of like mini podcasts, reels on Instagram. So once a week, she does this little reel on Instagram where she talks about everything she knit that week and how many minutes and seconds she spent on each of those things. And she talks with like a needle gauge, like as her microphone, with a little microphone attached to it. And I love it. She is so cute and she's so funny, and please go watch her. And please go like follow her on Instagram. She's adorable. And she's gonna be in Seattle. So I'm excited to see her and hang out with her too. And Emily from the Botanical Knitter. I'm finally gonna get to meet Emily in person. I'm excited to meet everybody. Everybody. If you're going to Flock, if you see me, please come say hi. Please, please, please come say hi. I love it when people come say, hi, I love your podcast. It like makes me feel so good. I'm not like one of those uber famous people who like, I'm not like Gigi Made It, who, like she was at Flock last year, and like she couldn't walk 2 steps without somebody stopping her and saying, hi, I love you, and wanting to take their picture and blah, 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 blah. Like I can see how that would maybe be a bit of a drag. I am not one of those people. I do not have millions and thousands of followers and subscribers and stuff. So if you see me, please come say hi. It like makes my day. Anyway, my friend Nicole and I made matching tank tops for the Flock Fest. I can never say that. we made matching tops for the Flock Fiber Festival last year. We made the Moon Crush tank. And this year we're making the mini mock neck tank by Jessie May. And I have started. I'm gonna take this off. Don't worry, I still have my other shirt on underneath. I'm gonna put it on for you because this is, okay. I've made a lot of progress, as you can see. Well, I have done like the back panel, and I'm just working on getting the front panel long enough to meet and cast on stitches in the pit area so that I can work in the round. So I think it's going to be really cute. This is this yarn. Oh crap, how many balls of yarn do I have attached here? Okay, this yarn is keep holding, just wait for it. This is Mary Margaret Fibers. This was my friend Candace that I used to work with at Polka Dot Creek, where I was the yarn dyer. A yarn dyer, not the yarn dyer. Anyway, Candace is also a yarn dyer, and her company is called Mary Margaret Fibers, and this colorway is called Pink Pony Club. Doesn't it look really cute when it just like, that's a whole look right there. This is her 75-25 fingering weight base, which is 463 yards. It's like that standard fingering weight base that lots of dyers have. It's a great base. I love it. Anyway, yeah, Pink Pony Club, which I thought was apropos for going to the US, using a colorway that was inspired by Chapel Roan, which is amazing. And just a teeny bit subversive, which I love. Yeah, so I can't, the back panel is all like rolled up because it's all stuck in it, but I anticipate making lots of progress on this soon. And okay, so for the collar, you're supposed to pick up and like knit a ribbed collar, and it's called the mini mock neck. So it's supposed to like come up fairly close to your neck, which I do not want. So I actually kind of like the collar as it is right now, but I might also just like pick up around and maybe do an I-cord, or just do like a couple of rounds of ribbing and then a couple rounds of stockinette, so it's like almost like a rolled neckline. I don't know. I just don't want it like up in my neck when it's summertime, you know? So yeah, that's my mini mock neck tank. I should probably put a picture up there and show you what it actually is going to look like. Yeah, it won't be as cropped. It'll probably be about the same length as this, because this is kind of like the general length that I enjoy. And that, I haven't been showing you project bags, but I showed you the one that my mom made me. This is the one that my Lanark sweater is living in, and it was tie-dyed. It was made by, it's called Wild Strands, handcrafted, and I don't think that they make I don't think they make project bags anymore. Every time I've looked recently on Etsy to like see if I can link it, their shop always says that they're on a break, and that's been for like 2 years. So this bag, however, was made by, oh, it needs a wash. It's a little dirty. I use it a lot. This is my emotional support yarn bag, and this was made by Penny, who is Creek Gardens Crafts on Etsy, and I'll put a link for her below. And it has like purple and pink pinstriping on the inside, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Yeah, so that is that. I think those are all my whips and FOs. I think. Yes. Okay, so we're almost done. I have a couple of acquisitions. Well, I have one yarn acquisition and one other acquisition that is not yarn. I'm gonna put this back on because it looks really cute. I love this color. I really want to get that limey green color that Justine made hers with though. It's really cute. And the yarn is from, the one that she used, that green color is, I think it was Bramble Ridge, which I think is a Canadian dyer. So I need to look into that because I would love one of these in that color too. I think that'd be really fun. What the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about acquisitions. Where is that bag? Here it is. Okay, so just before Mother's Day, Tiny Human Knits, which is Laura, had an update, and she has been working her little butt off lately. She has like this color palette that is stuck in her head, and I can completely relate. Like, she loves this color palette and she's making everything with this color palette. She made a tank top with it. She made a scrappy quilt with it. She made another top, I think, with it. She made socks with it. So this, I think the first thing she made was a quilt, and she really loved the colors. And so then she made a self-striping colorway, dyed a self-striping colorway with those colors. And then she like knitted the tank top with those colors. And then she started making project bags with those colors. And so she's done a few updates with these colors, and they speak to me. They're stuck in my head just as much as they're stuck in Laura's head. It's my dream palette almost. Anyway, it was right before Mother's Day when she had her scrappy quilt update, and I decided I was going to give myself a Mother's Day gift. So I ordered one of her scrappy project bags, scrappy quilt project bag. How amazing is this? Like, oh, I love the little pinks and the blue and the yellow, and like, oh, I love it so much. So it's just a basic bag on the inside, but like, she's a basic bitch on the inside, but like, oh, damn, fire on the outside. And then this is the self-striping colorway. So this is a 50-gram sock set. So that's it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 200 yards, because it's 50 grams, plus the 20-gram mini. Like, how amazing is this color? Like sagey, bluey green. Oh, I love it. I would make an entire sweater out of this color. Laura, can you please dye like full skeins of this color, please and thank you. Yeah, and it like matches so perfectly. Oh, I love it so much. I was so happy when it came, because it was just, sometimes when you order yarn and it comes, you're like, I mean, it's okay. But sometimes when you order yarn and it comes and you're like, oh my God, it's even more beautiful in person. But yeah, that's what happened. It's beautiful. Okay, my next acquisition is a giant box full of stuff. I did not buy this. I am not inherited. My mother-in-law is moving. She is downsizing. We lost my father-in-law, oh, it's been almost 4 years now, in June. And so she has decided that she doesn't need to live in their house anymore by herself. And she's gonna find herself a condo, and like, we're all happy for her. We're all supporting her and whatever. And anyway, she has been purging and purging and purging, because they have lived in this house. They built it in 1970 something, and so they've been in that house for over 40 years. And like, you know, you just accumulate stuff, right? And so she has been purging like crazy. And so I inherited some crafty stuff. She is not a crafter per se. Well, she is creative. She likes drawing and painting and that kind of stuff. But her sister, who we also lost that same year that we lost my father-in-law, unfortunately. So her sister was a cross stitcher, which I didn't even know. And when her sister passed away, my mother-in-law got all of this cross-stitch stuff from her. I'm not sure why, because she doesn't cross-stitch, but I think she just took it so that someone would have it. And so I just inherited a whole bunch of cross-stitch stuff. I don't do a ton of cross-stitch, but like when there's all this stuff, I'm like, well, maybe one day if I have something that I need to do, then I'll have all this stuff to do it. Okay, so this is, get ready. This bag is the bag that queen size sheets come from when you buy like a package of queen size sheets, and it has DMC in it. That's all embroidery thread, my friends. Look at all that. And this is only half of what was in here. This whole thing was like jam full of all this embroidery thread. And my sister-in-law wanted some, so my mother-in-law like divided it in half, gave me half, and is giving her half. So like that's enough to last me for the rest of my life. What else was in here? There's all kinds of goodies in here. There were a few finished pieces in here that she just hadn't framed. These cute little snowmen. Snow people. There were a couple of other little Christmas ones that need to be framed. They're so cute. Those little Santas, Noel, and some little candy canes. They're so cute. And then the rest of the box, I'll show you this. Oh. Look at all that stuff. So these are stretcher bars. There's all different sizes of them. There's this thing. Does anybody know what this is? I think it's for attaching your project to in some way, but I can't figure out how it works. So if you know what this is and how it works, please let me know. There's some Aida fabric in there. And then at the bottom of the box, there's all these pieces like this that have like twisty things, and there's a bunch of different like sizes and shapes and whatever, and they're all pieces to build this like fancy stand thing for cross stitch. So if you have like a big thing, like a big piece that you're working on, you attach it there, and then you can like stitch hands-free. Has like this thing. It has like a thing that you can put your, so I'm assuming all the parts are there. I don't know. I haven't attempted to build it yet. My mom was very interested. My mom is an amazing cross stitcher. If you want to see some of her stuff and you didn't watch my last episode, watch my last episode. She's amazing. So when I showed her all this stuff, she was like, ooh. She's keenly interested in that stand thing. So I need to try and build it and see if all the pieces are there, if it is a piece of junk, if it works well, that kind of thing. And then we'll talk, Mom. But there is, where did that, there's so much shit in here. She also left this that she had started working on. Like, it's a kit, so all of the embroidery floss is all attached to this little card thingy, and the pattern is in there, and she had started working on it a little bit, so maybe that'll give me something to do when if I lose my knitting mojo or just need an alternate craft outlet at some point. Yeah, so I inherited a whole lot of cross-stitch stuff. Yeah, I think that is all my crafty related things that I was going to talk about. I don't have much of a life update. Life has just been the regular driving kids everywhere, driving kids to school, driving kids home from school, driving kids to hockey, driving kids to ball hockey, driving kids to diving, driving kids to basketball, you know, all the things. That's really mostly what I've been up to. There haven't been any exciting things happening. I have been skateboarding quite a bit, so that's good. I've been working on our yard. Our front yard, like our street is really nice. There's a bunch, like everyone's yards are really well kept and look really nice. And our front yard looks like trash. And last year we were away for like a lot. We were away a lot last year during like the spring, summer, and didn't have time to deal with it. So now I'm starting to deal with it. I don't know anything about gardening. I don't know, like, I can operate a shovel. So the other day, and this was the day before I forgot to take my meds. I had actually taken my meds this day. I decided I was gonna go out into the front yard and dig up all the shit that wasn't supposed to be there. However, not knowing anything about gardening, I wasn't really sure which stuff was supposed to be there and what stuff wasn't. So I was out there for like 2 hours digging stuff up. Like there's a lot of rock. It's it's not a grass yard. It's most people in our neighborhood on our side of the street. We don't have very big front yards. So a lot of them are just like mulch with plants in them. And our yard was like mostly rock with some plants in it, but it hadn't been maintained for many years. And there was a bunch of grass in it, a bunch of weeds in it. There's a bunch of just like random shit growing in there. So yeah, I dug up a lot of stuff and I just left the stuff that like looks nice and like it looks like it was intentionally planted there and might be something nice. I don't know. We'll see. We do need to get rid of all the rock because it makes it very, very difficult to get rid of stuff, to dig stuff up. Yeah, so basically it's just been parenting and knitting, just the usual kind of stuff. My older son had a basketball tournament this weekend. He's never had one of those before. He's just playing basketball. This spring is the first time he's ever played like an organized basketball before. And it's just like community grassroots, like through the YMCA. So it's like exactly the right level for him. It's all mostly kids who are learning how to play basketball, who have like dribbled and shot hoops in their backyard kind of thing, but have never like played it as a team kind of thing. So it's been really great for him. My only complaint is that when they play games, the coach, like it is marketed as and supposed to be like learning for everyone and equal time for everyone so that everyone gets lots of experience and whatever. But when they play games, usually there's this one kid on the team that's really good. I mean, like every team you're on, there's always that one kid that's really good, right? That kid gets a lot more playing time than everyone else. And that kind of irks me. And not just because my kid isn't as good as him, it just irks me that it's a grassroots, community-based organization that's just meant for fun and learning. Like I said, he had a tournament on the weekend. He was there all day from 9 until like 3:30, and they played a bunch of games and they made it to the semifinals. And by the time they got to the semifinals, like this one kid was playing, he played, I think he only sat down for like maybe a minute. My kid played a minute in the first half and a minute in the second half. And I was pretty ragey by the end of that. Like, I don't give a flying fuck who wins the U13 YMCA basketball tournament, you know? I care that my kid is playing on a team and having fun with his friends. Like, he was having fun. Like, he got to know all these kids a little bit better, and like, he had fun, and he played a little bit more in the round robin games, but still didn't really touch the ball very much, which is because this other kid was on the court the whole time, and whenever he's on the court, he has the ball and he doesn't pass because he's good and he just shoots and scores, which is great. Like, they won all their games. If he hadn't been there, they wouldn't have won any of their games. But that's not the point. So afterwards, I was chatting with him, and I was like, "Did you have fun today?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "How did you feel about, how much playing time everyone got and whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah, if I was better, I would have played more." So like that was his takeaway from the tournament, was that he wasn't good enough, so he didn't get to play very much, which really, really, really rubs me the wrong way. But anyway, the other thing, that's my other son who's in diving. He has an assessment at the end of June. So this year he's been doing pre-competitive training. So he's learning all of the basics that you need to be able to build on to do all the more fun, fancy dives. And he has an assessment at the end of June. And if he passes the assessment at the end of June, then he can compete next year. So he has been doing some extra training. They made a few extra hours available each week so that he can do some extra training to make sure that he's ready for his assessment. And then the coach let slip that there's a competition in the middle of June that him and a few of the other kids he trains with could possibly be entered into if they have there's a list of dives that they have to have in order to be able to compete. And I guess when he was at training last night, his coach told him there's only one dive that he needs to get in order to get to this competition. And he really wants to go to a competition. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully he can get it. If not, he just still has to keep training so that he can pass his assessment and then compete next year, hopefully. So anyway, we'll deal with that when it comes, but it's nice to see him working really hard to try and achieve something, which is really good. Yeah, so like I said at the beginning, I'm sorry I wasn't ignoring you all. I was just, you gotta be in the right mood. And I've been having a lot of headaches lately. I'm not sure what it is. I do clench and grind my teeth really, really hard at night. I have a retainer that I wear in my mouth at night because I clench and grind so much. So I don't know if it's just that I need a new retainer, or if it's like I'm still clenching and grinding so much that it's giving me headaches even if I have a retainer. I went to my doctor this week and was talking about the headaches, and they were like, well, it does just sound like tension headaches because it's like always down here and my neck is always sore. And sometimes it like wraps around here, which is like a classic tension headache, which would come from clenching and grinding and whatever. But there are a few other things that he was like, well, maybe we'll just, so I'm gonna do a scan, just to like a CT scan, just to make sure everything's totally okay, which I'm pretty sure it's just the clenching and grinding that's causing it. But just to make sure that there's nothing else going on, we'll do that. And then once I, fingers crossed, get a clean CT scan, then I'll talk to my doctor, my dentist, about maybe getting some Botox in there to just release those muscles and hopefully put a stop to the headaches. I don't know why I started talking about that. Oh, because I haven't been really in the mood for podcasting the last month or so, just because my head has been killing me. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so I'm having an Elizabeth moment. Elizabeth, when she like finishes her little reels with the like little needle gauge and the microphone, she has trouble. She said in her last reel she has trouble like signing off and saying goodbye, and I am having that particular issue at the moment. And so I'm just gonna do what she does and say bye.